The vision of Nahum the Elkohite. El-Kaim, perhaps? But Nachum, we may remember this from Isaiah 41. Nachum wa Nachmu Ami. Regret and repent, and you'll be my people. Totally not the same as comfort them regardless, right? I mean, the word is my people, but that's how people are presenting it, the Zionists are. The decline of Assyria toward the end of the 7th century was watched from a distance by the Jews with very natural feeling of gratified revenge intermingled with nobler emotions of exultation at the approaching overthrow of a savagely militaristic nation. Thus, at the moment of its disappearance, Assyria, incapable of producing great literature itself, was at least the cause of a piece of great literature from one of its enemies, the poem of the prophet Nahum on the fall of hated Nineveh, 612 BCE, a superb nation of rhapsodic passion and powerfully vivid realism. But to think that Assyria is like, just because we're not commonly publishing and sharing about Assyrian text doesn't mean that they lacked literary skill. The vision of Nahum the Elkohite. I don't know how you spell it, so it could be a "een" at the end instead of a "eem." He that dasheth in pieces. Reminds you of that verse from the Psalms about dashing the children of your enemies into rocks, which don't punish the innocent for what their relations do. That's, yeah. He that dasheth in pieces is come up before thy face. Keep the munition, watch the way, make thy loins strong, fortify thy power mightily. The shield of its mighty men is made red, the valiant men are in scarlet. The chariot shall be with flaming torches in the day of its preparation, and the fir trees shall be terribly shaken. The chariot shall rage in the streets, they shall jostle against one another in the broad ways, they shall seem like torches, they shall run like the lightnings. He shall recount his worthies. They shall stumble in their walk. They shall make haste to the wall thereof. And the defense shall be prepared. The gates of the rivers shall be opened, and the palace shall be dissolved, and Huzab shall be led away captive. She shall be brought up, and her maids shall lead her as with the voice of doves, tabering upon their breasts. But Nineveh is of old like a pool of water, yet they shall flee away. Stand, stand, shall they cry, but none shall look back. Take ye the spoil of silver, take the spoil of gold, for there is none end of the store, and glory out of all the pleasant furniture. She is empty and void and waste, and the heart melteth, and the knees smite together, and much pain is in all loins, and the faces of them all gather blackness. Where is the dwelling of the loins, and the feeding place of the young lions, where the lion, even the old lion, walketh, and the lions whelp, and none made them afraid. The lion did tear in pieces enough for his whelps, and strangled for his lioness, and filled his holes with prey, and his dens with ravine. Behold, I am against thee, saith God as a noun and verb of hosts, and I will burn her chariots in the smoke, and the sword shall devour thy young lions, and I will cut off thy prey from the earth, and the voice of thy messengers shall be no more heard. Woe to the bloody city! It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not, the noise of a whip, and the noise of the rattling of the wheels, and of the prancing horses, and of the jumping chariots. The horseman lifteth up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, And there is a multitude of slain and a great number of carcasses. And there is none end of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcrafts. Behold, I am against thee, saith God as a noun and verb of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. And it shall come to pass that all they that look upon thee shall flee from thee, and say, Nineveh is laid waste. Who will bemoan her? Whence shall I seek comfort? Ters for thee. Art thou better than Populus? No. That was situate among the rivers that had the waters round about it, whose rampart was the sea, and her wall was from the sea. Ethiopia and Egypt were her strength, and it was infinite. Put and Lubim were thy helpers, yet was she carried away. She went into captivity. Her young children also were dashed in pieces at the top of all the streets, and they cast lots for her honorable men, and all her great men were bound in chains. Thou also shalt be drunken, thou shalt be hid, thou also shalt seek strength because of thy enemy. All thy strongholds shall be like fig trees with first-ripe figs. If they be shaken, they shall even fall into the mouth of the eater. Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. The gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thine enemies. The fire shall devour thy bars. Draw thee water for the siege. Fortify thy strongholds. Go into clay and tread the mortar. Make strong the brick kiln. There shall the fire devour thee. The sword shall cut thee off. It shall eat thee up like the cankerworm. Make thyself many as the cankerworm. Make thyself many as the locusts. Thou hast multiplied thy merchants above the stars of heaven. The cankerworm spoileth and fleeth away. Thy crowned are as the locusts, and thy captives as the great grasshoppers, which camp in the hedges in the cold day. But when the sun ariseth, they flee away, and their place is not known where they are. Thy shepherds slumber, O King of Assyria. Thy nobles shall dwell in the dust. Thy people is scattered upon the mountains, and no man gathereth them. There is no healing of thy bruise. Thy wound is grievous. All that hear the bruit of thee shall clap their hands over thee. For upon whom hath not thy wickedness passed continually?